Right, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Today, let us begin with a new chapter, strategy analysis and choice. Frankly, I would find it very difficult for me to teach this subject through online, but especially this chapter through online. But anyway, anyhow, this is something that we have to do. And I really hope that each and every one of you has already made your own preparation. You have read through your notes. At least you have skipped through your slides. At least you know and you would expect what are the things that we are going to discuss. So in the first 5 chapters, we have talked about, we have come to the process of formulation of strategy. We have discussed in terms of analyzing the internal and external analysis of the organization, and we already being exposed with several more than 10-15 strategies altogether in chapter 5. So based on all of those strategies that we have discussed, now we know that we are being presented with so many different alternatives that you can take as an organization. So in this particular chapter, we are going to discuss on how those strategies are going to be implemented or selected, because we are being presented with many options. So now we are going to go through the decision making process of how are we going to select and make a choice in terms of which of the strategy that is going to be finally presented or selected for your organization. All right, these are some of the objectives that we are going to cover, inshallah. We will go straight to here. The process of selecting and generating strategies, a manageable set of most attractive strategies must be developed, like a decision making. Before we can select the best, the final decision, we hope that we are going to come out and brainstorm several alternatives towards that decision. So then you can pick your final decision based on the alternative that you have discussed and identified. And same goes with the process of generating and selecting strategies. We have to look into the advantages, disadvantages, and then the costs and benefits of these strategies. Who should be involved? We should get every managers to be involved, and to every important key employees to participate, who assemble the vision and mission statements, who perform the external audit, and who conducted the internal audit. They should be involved in the process of generating and selecting the strategies. They must be considered and discussed in several meetings. It must be listed, and then when all feasible strategies identified by participants are given and understood, the strategies should be ranked in order of attractiveness. This is one of the simplest way on how you can rank the strategies, the alternative. For example, should not be implemented, possibly should be implemented, probably should be implemented, definitely should be implemented. For example, when we talk about Cendol Kampung Hulu, the last time that we have the intention to do, maybe based on several potential alternatives, maybe something that they should implement is that they need to get the trademark, they need to get the copyright. That is the strategy that definitely should be implemented first. And then maybe perhaps to rebranding, new logos, for example, that one is something that could possibly should be implemented. And then adding up a new menu, that could be probably should be implemented. And then buying a larger store, that one maybe perhaps should not be implemented. So that is the example on how you can use this attractiveness ranking to evaluate each of your potential strategies that you are going to suggest. If you are having a final exam, for example, sometimes this was one of the questions that they asked for this particular chapter. They asked the student at least 1 or 2 times throughout my 10 years or 10 semesters of teaching this subject, the strategy formulation analytical approach. So there are 3 steps. The first one is the input stage. These are something that we have done. we have done the EFE, we have done the IFE, and then we have discussed on the competitive profile matrix. So in order for us to develop and choosing the final strategy, again, the SWOT analysis is the most important one. If you do your SWOT wrongly, not correctly, for example, it might affect the whole process of decision making. And then in this chapter, we are going to discuss all of this at the matching stage. This is how you are going to use all of the information that we have identified in the earlier stage, and then we try to match in the second stage. And then finally, we go into the decision stage, maybe based from 3 or 4 final alternative strategies, potential strategies. We are going to use QSPM in order to make the final decision.